The Untold Truth every Friday at 6 p.m. The journey has just begun with Master Eric. Zalisa. A new kind of podcast getting to the root of hidden knowledge. You can join us on Facebook, Conversation with the Zalisa, and YouTube, Master Eric. Your journey has just begun.
Very warm welcome to all of our viewers near and far to another edition of an exciting The Untold Truths broadcasting from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. A warm welcome. Thanks for choosing us at this time. I am Zalisa Budu Singh Rupani.
And I'm Master Eric. And I want to say Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum, Sairam, and good evening, everyone. The response that we begin, my mic's a little off a little bit, but the response we're getting from all of you is tremendous. In the last 10 days, we've got 55,000 views, which we love, and remember, we're here, you're there, but we're becoming one family. And that's what it's all about. And the more you view, hopefully, the more you're going to understand. And knowledge is power. Money isn't power. All right, so tonight, Zalisa, we're going to do something totally different. It's going to be a subject, everyone, that you may have heard about little bits. And it's about what are and were the 4 ages of humanity, of time. It's very important to understand the sequence of events and how it went about. And then you may wonder, what age are we in now?
Correct.
So we're going to go over that a little bit later. But I want to say, Zalisa, that, with you and Anais and everybody, it's a pleasure to even be with you on these programs, because Anais, you're very good with the equipment. And people, one thing I love about this, there's no negativity. Okay? And always remember to stay positive and succeed in life. Bring positive people around you.
Correct.
Bring people that have the same goals as you. And hold on to that. And don't let nobody come in between. Because let me tell you something. Time is precious.
Correct.
We can't waste any time. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. And I already see somebody already wrote and said, I'm so excited for this topic.
That's right.
Right? And we didn't plan much for it because I want to flow with it. Now, there's going to be times I'm going to read. The reason I'm going to read, people, is I don't want to miss a word that was written 6,000 years ago when it comes to the 4 different ages. Now, the first age, and I'm going to use the Western terms. I'm not going to use the ancient terms because you wouldn't understand. All right? But the first one is called the Golden Age. Now, the Golden Age, it lasted 1,728,000 years. That Golden Age was at that time. So, what was written about the Golden Age? Now, this is from ancient scriptures, people. This isn't something that was just written 1,500, 2,000 years ago. All right, the Golden Age, I'm going to read it, is stated, in the beginning, before there was any division of subject and object, there was only one existence. That was God himself.
Okay. That's
All
in the
right.
golden age.
In the golden age.
Okay.
Before the golden age.
Okay.
Before he created humans.
Okay.
Before he got everything going. There was only one existence.
Okay.
It was him. Alone and with absolutely no time. Do you think God has a watch? Time don't exist where he is. Everything is always. It's always in existence with God. Now, that time that started was called the Golden Age.
Okay.
Now, in the Golden Age, people remembered, and God, this would be great. They remembered everything without difficulty.
Ah.
They could absorb all information that God handed down.
Okay.
Okay? Now, they didn't have difficulty recognizing what the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, and everybody talks about. Learning about thyself.
Okay.
They knew who they were. They understand that they were the creation of God.
Right.
Now, they did not have no doubt. They had no fear. They had no anxieties, no hatred. Why? They were all the same. They understood that God created everyone equal.
Okay.
So no one stood above the other.
Okay.
So in that age, they knew that there was only what some beliefs call a caste.
Okay.
There was only one. No one was above the other. Right?
May I?
Yeah.
In terms of ethnicity, in terms of race, in terms of things like that, there was just one.
One.
Okay, correct.
Now, no one knows for sure whether there wasn't different colored people.
Okay.
We don't know
Okay.
because there's no records
That's
of it.
that hasn't been documented.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Because they're talking at that time about humanity on the whole.
So
At
perhaps
that
they
time.
did not, which is a great point, which means at that time, because of their knowledge, because of their understanding, their purity, they did not see, there were no barriers. They did
None.
not see ethnicity, they did not see color, and things like that. When you say one equal, no caste system, nothing like that. No one being better than the other. Yeah?
Right.
Okay.
And another thing that was very important back then is that, and it states here, that they all understood that man never exists separated from God. That God had to be the huge part
Okay.
of their existence.
All right.
So it's not like we say, okay, God is up there, we are here, we're in control of our own domain. We are the head of races in the world.
Okay.
No. They always knew that God was in control.
All right.
There was no contamination, there was only purity of those individuals. Now, it says, and I'm going to quote, in the beginning, in the golden age, man had one caste.
Ah, okay.
All were equally endowed with knowledge, and all were born knowers of the truth.
Ah,
And since this was so called the age, the golden age. Now, in the golden age, do you know through genetics that the information of the golden age is actually in everyone watching, us, and everybody in the world. That knowledge is buried deep within our own consciousness.
Wow.
And only certain people that can uplift themselves through meditation and different means of spirituality are able to tap into some of that.
Some of it.
Some. Probably in reality, a particle.
Okay.
And then when they have that particle, everybody that's normal is like, wow, look at the knowledge they have. Look what they can do, right? But you only have a particle. And all the information of the universe, the different ages, and the time factors are actually stored in the ancient word, the Akashic records.
Okay.
Right? Now, what the Akashic records are, people, is all the data and information that happens. It's stored like a computer database.
Ah.
So, when people get to levels that they can actually tap in, then some answers can be revealed. But there's a lot of people that act like they tap in, but they don't. And you got to watch out for who you talk to and who you try to get information from, because they may just be playing you. Okay, be very careful on that. Now,
May I ask this question? Now, you indicated that we, in this age, can, with the right guidance, meditation, training, we can, and with proper control of ourselves. When you said earlier on, knowledge is power, we can control ourselves. We can make that choice to do that. But something you said that was very important is that you have to know whom can guide.
It takes tremendous discipline.
Okay.
It takes a tremendous will and drive. Because what you have to go through to reach that level, it's a give and take.
When you say give and take, can you define that? Excuse me.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to use myself.
Yes.
Okay? Now, are you okay? Take a drink.
I'm fine. I'm going to have some water. Yeah.
And that's water, people. Okay, it's not vodka.
It's water.
Now, myself.
Yeah.
When I made that choice, now how that worked, the guru approached me.
Right.
I didn't know. And he saw something in me that I didn't know that existed in me.
You didn't even realize you had this gift.
So now, what happened was...
Excuse me.
What happened was, is that he asked me, may I teach you and give you all the knowledge that I have before I die? And I accepted. Now, Zalisa,
Yeah.
that was 10 years, 5 nights a week of training. Now, in that, pardon me. Here, I can for a minute. Now, in that training, people, it actually, you have to give up. You have to give up drinking, smoking. I had to give up all meats. At the time, I was married with my ex, and I had to make the choice. I could not touch her. I could not kiss her. I could not sleep in the same room. And then there's certain things you have to do during the day, besides the training that your teacher will give you. And that usually average 4.5, 5 hours a day. So it takes a lot of discipline. Now, starting next month, I'm going to have a special class. I'm not going to do the meditation yet because there's certain people that are gifted. Now, some people are gifted and they don't even know they have it. They just understand that there's something going different with their life. They're experiencing different emotions, different things that's happening in their life. So, this class, since they're gifted to a certain extent, now every gift is different people. So if I have a class with 15 people in it, not everybody's going to have the same gift. But there's one common factor. And the common factor is yearning to learn. And when you learn what needs to be done to uplift an individual to where they're at a higher level, closer with God, it can be achieved. And yes, we are going to do that. Now, in the golden age, at the end of the golden age, but see, there's a problem. Some scholars say that the golden age, at the end, that some of the followers of the ancients, the genetics came down to a group of men that were the disciples of Christ. Because they had a different level. There was a reason Jesus picked these individuals. You know, a lot of people said, well, he just picked a fisherman. He picked this, he picked that. No. He saw them, he felt them. There was a connection. So some people say that. Now, in the golden age, like I said, there was no hatred. There was only love. There was existence. Now, how did they communicate? How did they communicate with each other within the golden age? So, Zelisa, you can come on back in, don't worry. So, in the golden age, everyone.
I humbly apologize. I humbly apologize.
No problem.
Thanks for understanding. Don't let me interrupt, please.
In the golden age. Now, Zelisa has seen this. In the golden age, they did not chit-chat vocally. They communicated through telepathy, from mind to mind. Why? There was no negative within these individuals. So what I mean negative, hatred, lust, jealousy, anger, they were pure. Now, when people can control their mind, they can control their emotions. Now the channel can be open. And Zelisa, you actually witnessed telepathy.
I certainly did. And it was this was at your office in South, yeah?
Correct. Now, you saw an individual talking to me through my mind, and so you could hear I'm answering what they ask.
Certainly, and
Go ahead.
if you'll allow, it was indeed an experience of a lifetime. I wasn't pre-warned or I wasn't told what I was going to experience. I was just invited into the office. Actually, I took someone very close to me for you to help that person. You know what I'm talking about.
Correct, that day.
Yeah. And so I was just asked to come in. I thought we were just going to have a discussion, not knowing what I was going to experience. And there, I saw that, and it was the first time in my life I would have had that experience, an experience of a lifetime, actually seeing you communicate with another person. Um, and they were talking, of course, you were talking in a completely
Different language.
correct, that I couldn't understand. It wasn't Hindi, I couldn't understand, to be
No.
honest. I couldn't identify what was the language, and I know languages. I understand different languages. However,
But,
I didn't with this.
but the other person, when this was happening,
Yeah.
they didn't say anything.
No. This person was just there bending
Right.
as if they, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I want people to understand that you
Like in how would I say, respect, like when
Respect is
somebody come like a guru or pundit or whatever, you come and this person was very in a respected way, like this, very humbling, and you were then speaking the language,
correct.
and they were communicating, and I was like, what is this?
So people, it can be achieved, but it takes sacrifice. Do you think God just hands you something? When it comes to this, you have to earn it. Now, during this time of learning, you're being tested. Because God will never give you a gift that He knows you're severely going to abuse. And if you do abuse it, He will take it faster than you got it. See, I want people to understand this. But back then, all the individuals had this.
Ah.
So there was no talking.
So they
like we do.
communicate. Okay, understood.
Everything was telepathy.
Right. Okay, great.
Okay? Now, after that, we started entering the Silver Age.
Okay, that is okay.
Now, the Silver Age lasted 1,296,000 years. Now, in the Silver Age, still, no one wanted anything for themselves. Does that sound different than what we're living in today?
So nothing materialistic. Nothing. They were not concerned about anything that was material. Okay.
Correct.
So are you
And-
now defining, just for the benefit of our viewers, are you now talking about houses and cars and nothing material?
Not yet.
Okay.
Now, in the Silver Age, they acknowledged the same thing. What they call thyself, the one self, where you are united with God.
Ah.
Okay? Now, but as the Silver Age started to go through its years, and towards the end of the Silver Age, the seeds of the Lesser Age from the past started to go away.
Oh.
So that time, a lot of the scholars of many beliefs state that this is the time where it says the seeds were sown, which made man begin to want something for themselves. This is the story of the fall of man in the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
So now I know there's a lot of people confused.
And
A lot of people.
And of course, the program has been designed to help you to understand, give you information. Knowledge is power. So, if you may have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to WhatsApp your messages, your concerns at 1-868 354 4459. That's 1-868 354 4459. Also, 1-868 497 7226. please feel free to send your messages, your concerns. Master Eric will be more than happy to answer them.
Now,
for you.
before I start, there's a message that came in.
Great.
And it says, the quote reminds me of this quote. It says, God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
Ah.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Okay? Now, a lot of people right now, you're probably confused. Like I said, I'm not saying concrete that this is when Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden happened.
Yeah.
This is what a lot of scholars say, okay, that studied the timetables.
And this is what has been documented that he's now
Correct.
helping. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to understand one thing. Could this be? Or can it not be?
Food for
Now,
thought.
there's a lot of questions.
Food for thought.
No, there's a lot of questions, Elisa.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm going over these ages is because there's a lot of unanswers,
Yeah.
even in the Bible.
Correct.
Now, I'm going to bring one. Cain and Abel came from the original line
Right.
through Adam and Eve and
Eve.
everybody,
Right.
right? Then Cain killed Abel.
Yes.
And then that was the first burial recorded in the Bible.
Ah.
Because he didn't know what to do with the body, so he buried the body underground. So that's the first recorded burial. I don't know if you're being taught that out
First
there.
murder as well that we know, Master Eric.
Correct.
First murder as well. It was big, but yeah.
Now, after time, Cain left, and he went on his journey. Now, it states, very briefly, that he came upon a huge city full of people. And that's the end. That's all you hear.
So,
Do you know why? Because they pulled out the book of Enoch. But we won't go there yet. That's
Master
going to be
Eric,
another program.
this is very confusing because we are told that Adam and Eve are the first. You follow what I'm saying? Man and woman. They had their children. Then now you're saying that he went to another city with people.
No, I'm not saying.
No, based on what you
What the Bible says.
Yeah.
Okay, people, I am very neutral.
Right. This is
I
yeah.
study a lot of beliefs, and I try to study and say what is similar, what is not similar, what's different between them. Now, what I'm trying to say is the book of Enoch describes it, and he actually says where those people came from, but that part's missing. That's all that was said in the Bible. Now, could it have been the last of the golden age of the people that did not talk? They did, telepathy.
Oh.
And also,
interesting.
at that time,
Yeah.
people were taller. That's why you're seeing the archaeologists. They're actually picking up, they're digging up 15-foot skeletons.
Yes, correct.
In the
Oh,
Middle
they were
East.
taller.
They were taller.
Ah.
As the ages come,
Uh-huh.
humans become shorter. Okay? So now, in the Silver Age, like I said, it could have been, it's saying, the beginning of the fall of man with the Garden of Eden. Now, even though from the Golden Age to the Silver Age, there's a massive difference between the two ages in the actual development of people,
Okay.
right? They still had the graciousness. They were not angry. They did not. So what I'm saying, from the fall of Adam and Eve down to Cain, you really never heard nothing between that time of murder or jealousy. It was calm.
Calm and
Except
cool
for
and collective, yeah.
Except for when they were expelled out of the Garden of Eden. So I'm trying to explain these little differences within.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Now, this one is nice. They said, at this time, from the Golden Age to the Silver Age,
Yeah.
everyone was beautiful. They had the appearance of beauty.
Master Rick, what did they define beauty as? May I ask? Is it written?
No,
Okay.
they just say beauty.
All right.
Now, beauty can be taken in different ways.
Right. That's
Now-
why I asked.
Now, as humans, we can be viewed beauty as the physical sense.
Yes.
But in spirituality, spirituality does not look at the physical sense. They look at the spiritual sense. So a person that is spiritual and has no hatred, their energy, Zelisa, is so pure and so powerful that the aura that's going around them will be brilliant. So they might be describing the brilliance of their own energy back then,
Ah.
not just the physical sense. Okay?
Understood.
Now, there was, at that time, in the Silver Age, was the beginning of kings
Okay.
and territories,
All right.
what they call states.
Yeah.
Not like the United States, but it's territories.
Right.
Right? And this is when humanity started to fall under the control of these different states in the world.
Okay.
Okay? And they were very obedient to the directions. Because think about it, people. How did we learn to plant? How did we learn to build? How did we learn to do different things? Because God gave certain people the knowledge from the Akashic records
Oh.
and to do things. Let me give you an example. Einstein. Einstein is one of the major geniuses in history. He stated all the knowledge came to him through dreams.
Dreams.
So what I'm saying, people, when God picks you and you need to develop something for humanity, He will give you that knowledge in your head, that idea.
May I ask again? We're all familiar with the great Nostradamus, who would have made predictions to the point. Would you say that he was chosen then, had dreams or whatever?
At that time, I can't say he was chosen or if he wasn't.
Okay.
All I know, he was able to tap in to a section of the Akashic records. Because what people don't understand, the Akashic records isn't just now and the past. It's also the future.
So it's the past, the now, and the future.
It's all in the Akashic records.
Understood.
So all beliefs, every one of them, state, and that's why they state that before you're born, your life is written.
Yes, we've
So
heard.
where's that record going?
Yeah.
Into the database, the Akashic records.
Huh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I'm trying to clarify some of the missing pieces of the puzzle as we go through this. Now, people were truth-loving people, and they were virtuous with their grandchildren, their children, and the women. Then, here comes the next age. And the next age was called the Bronze Age. That is the Western term. And the Bronze Age only lasted 864,000 years. It's nothing like the other two ages.
There's a vast
1.2
difference.
and a different.
Yeah, vast difference.
Now, in the Bronze Age, men started becoming heroes in that age. At the time, the qualities were no longer pure. They started to get mixed. Mixed with what?
So, Master
If
Eric,
they're heroes, they think their ego gets big now.
yeah, so I was just about to ask with regards to their minds were becoming polluted.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ego, pride. They had great courage.
Okay.
They had strength. They had boldness. But the decline of the spiritual capabilities were becoming grounded by what the earth and what was being done and provided at that time. So now, money, currency, titles, all of this started to come within mankind.
Yeah.
And that causes corruption. People, we see a lot of that today,
We
right?
certainly do.
But we haven't even got to our age yet.
Yeah, because you're in the
Okay.
bronze.
Now, it was unknown to them the full capability of the ones before them. Because writing from the Golden Age to the Silver Age really didn't exist. It was only done in clay tablets by chisel. Okay? That's why in some of the ancient beliefs, some of the stories in our modern religions is the same. So we won't go there now. We'll go there later because that's a very touchy subject. So now, as we see, there was a decline from the Golden Age
Right.
to the Silver Age
To the bronze.
and to the Bronze Age. So now, what age are we in now?
Good question.
And is it a good age that we're in now compared to the Golden Age or the Silver Age?
Yeah.
I want you to think about it. Now, the last fourth age is called the Iron Age.
Iron Age.
In the ancient languages, it's called Kali Yuga. Now, Kali Yuga, if you notice, the times of each age is reducing. The Bronze Age was 864,000. Now, the Iron Age is 432,000. It's almost half. Okay? Now, this is what was written thousands of years ago. I want you to keep that in mind. So when I'm reading it, don't just sit there and say, yep, that's what's going on here. This was written way before we came in the picture. Okay? Now, this age, the qualities of this age at present, which they've calculated by the Puranic timetables. Now, I let them just quickly view the Puranic timetables before we came on air. Doesn't it look very complicated? Those people were brilliant, way more smarter than us when it comes to calculating time. And they're so accurate. They said that Kali Yuga and the Iron Age started on the 18th of February, 3102 BC.
Wow.
Now, here are some of the excerpts of the description of what they said this age will produce. 1. The observance of place in society, regulation of behavior, and obedience to law will not prevail in the Iron Age. Does that sound familiar? It also states, nor will the rules that connect the teacher to the pupil be enforced anymore. Another one. The laws that regulate the conduct of husband and wife will be discarded and will no longer be offered. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Wow.
Let's go on. Every text will be considered a scripture now. It will deviate from the real laws of God. How many beliefs do we have in the world now, people? 4,200 and counting. Isn't this true? Isn't this what's being said? Let's go on. He who gives away much money will be the master of all men. The minds of men will be wholly occupied in acquiring wealth, and they will start to solely depend on their own selfish gratifications in life. No man will part with the smallest fraction of the smallest coin that they have. Doesn't that sound familiar now?
Very much so.
Okay, let's keep going. Men of all degrees will conceit themselves to be equal with no one. So what they're saying, remember in the other ages, everybody said we're all one.
Yes, and if
God
golden,
created
yes.
everyone equal. Now they're saying that's out the door. If one's rich, he's above you.
Correct.
If you're poor, you're the
Yes,
outcast.
yeah.
So what I'm saying, doesn't this sound familiar?
Yes, very much so.
Now, there will never be abundance at the end of the Iron Age. Men will never, at the end of Iron Age, even enjoy pleasure and happiness. That's to come.
Wow.
They will take their food without previous or without worshiping God and offering and saying thank you to God. If you're seeing now, people are saying we should not have the word God in churches. I mean, in schools.
Schools, yeah.
We can't say they're going to change the Pledge of Allegiance because
Yeah.
it says under God.
Correct.
What they're saying here
Yeah.
is becoming reality
Yes,
now.
I agree. We're living it in these times.
Right. Then it says, the women of the world will be fickle, paying no heed to the commands of their husbands.
Women?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what they're saying here, that's not a bad thing. What they're saying here, the roles are going to change to where women are going to state they're not slaves of the man anymore.
But isn't it happening, Master?
No, but what I'm saying,
Yeah.
what they wrote
Yeah.
is actually happening.
Yes, yes,
One after the
definitely,
other.
definitely.
Now, the duration of life, the timeline of life, will decrease of humans in this age. Now, when you hear of Enoch, Noah,
Correct.
Moses,
Correct.
they would have been in the Bronze and Silver Age. They say Noah lived to be 900 years.
Yeah?
People back then lived long.
Yeah.
But look what we're doing now. We're averaging what now? 75 to 80 years old.
Yeah, 65
worldwide.
to 70.
Right. Now, in the name of men, not God, they will come and approach you and say, of what authority are you to speak what you do? Oh my God.
I know.
Isn't that what they did to Jesus?
Yeah.
Isn't that what they're doing to the good
Yeah.
people now,
No,
trying to save out
no,
the truth?
yes, yes.
Okay? And what need is there of purification? So, everybody, I just gave a brief description.
Yeah.
Hopefully, by the end of the year, we're going to be set up to where we can give classes in depth,
Great.
to where we're going to blow doctrine schools out. Why? We're going to include them. Then we're going to include this one and compare. And let me tell you something, people, you're going to be amazed.
Yeah.
Because the message that was written way back is the same. God installed the knowledge in individuals all over the world to try to send out that message.
Yeah.
To try to give humanity guidance in how they should hopefully live.
Some sort of direction to life.
See,
Proper life.
here's a question that just came in. Let me work on that. The question is, since the first age was millions of years ago, who wrote about the 4 different ages? That's a brilliant question.
It is actually.
To answer your question, the actual first documentations written was from the Rishis and the Munis.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
And now it's published. Okay? But still, there's a lot of information you have to really dig for. Why? There's only 1 or 2 institutions in the world that has all of them. Now, what we're going to do, hopefully by November, we're going to start releasing the books that Constantine removed out of the Bible. I have them. And we're going to release what was in there. And it's going to answer the sections that are missing. Right? And there's reasons why. If you noticed, in the ancient days, people could go to what they called the synagogue. That's what Jesus used to go to.
Right.
Only certain people could go into the next part of the synagogue.
Correct.
Certain knowledge was only for the high
It
priest.
was withheld. Correct.
And it's still today being done the same way. What I was trying to show you, everybody, is that, and I'm going to give you a little idea. When my guru taught me, Zalisa,
Yeah.
he said, not in your time. He meant my time
Right.
of
now.
life. And he said, not in your child's time, but the time after that. People will not kill for money, gold, or possessions anymore. He said they will kill each other for food and water.
Wow.
That water and food in that time will be priceless. Now, if you notice, people, the earth is directing, it's heading in a different direction.
Correct. Life is.
Climate change. Now, I explained to Anais before the show, and we don't have time to go in it, about what they call the earth shift.
Yeah.
Now, this was also written back in this time. And NASA confirmed 2 years ago that the magnetic energy, the magnetic poles of the earth are moving. So we'll talk about that also. I'm not saying, people, I'm giving you this knowledge because a lot of it is factual, but that there's some of it that cannot be confirmed
Okay.
because nobody's alive to confirm it. But it's been handed down in writings, okay? Just like we believe what we believe in today. It's handed down by writings.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that is said in here, and it's very true. In Kali Yuga, what's at the end of Kali Yuga? What is at the end of the Iron Age? Well, it's the final tribulation. It's the end of earth. Now, it also makes another statement. It is never too late. Do you know what can change it? Us.
We're in control.
We can actually change
That's the truth.
by how we're behaving, how we treat each other, how we treat other countries. I want you to see what was written here happening right now. You have one country invading another because they say that's my territory.
Yeah.
That was my area. Now we have one on the other side of the world that's saying this little territory is their land.
Correct.
And they're willing to kill
They're killing.
to get that property back.
Correct.
So is it that we as humans, have we learned a darn thing?
Absolutely not.
Now, when they said people will prosecute you if you step on their toes spiritually, isn't that happening now? Didn't that happen to Jesus Christ? Well, this was predicted way before. People, we can change this. We can change like a chain reaction through the world if we just start doing what we're taught, not what society dictates. Didn't people learn their lesson? Let's say Christianity in the Old Testament. When God told them, I'm going to destroy this city. And they said, no, there's good people there. He said, if you could find me 10, I will spare the city.
Right.
They could not find 10.
10.
And that was Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, what was said in Sodom and Gomorrah? Isn't that what's happening today? All over the world?
Shall we just wrap things up with this last or there are two messages actually. Yeah.
Good evening, Master Eric. Good evening to Lisa. Awesome program. Thank you for your wealth of knowledge and willingness to share freely. Question: will your classes be open to all persons seeking to grow spiritually or to be a selected few?
That's a nice question.
How does one qualify to participate in your classes? Do you know what the qualification is? The yearning and love to learn.
Simply the want to change.
I'm not the one to stereotype people or to select people. Who am I to judge who is the ones that is required or can come to the class. So if you're interested, or anybody out there interested in taking the classes, please WhatsApp 1-868-354-4459 or 497 7226.
Correct.
And give your name, and we will put you on the list. Now, real quick, before how I do my courses, you know how some people have 100, 200 people in the room? No. I'm going to have smaller classes more often, so we can have more one-on-one.
That's so important.
And the guru or the teacher should be able to see as you're doing
correct
the exercises.
I like that.
That
It's
we're
a little more
seeing
intimate.
What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses?
Right.
And everybody's going to have a different set.
Nice. Master Eric, a question came in from the United States of America. Will you do virtual classes? And of course, this is an international viewer.
Yes.
Or virtual meditation.
Now, what we can do.
Good question.
If there's people in other countries that would like to view, or we can also record it on our YouTube and Facebook, and you can replay it back.
Right.
So we're going to look at all the options when we're setting up.
Correct.
But everybody, it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you tonight. I hope you learned a little bit tonight. Maybe you knew it, and if you did, hats off to you. But those of you who didn't, I hope you enjoyed the program. Wait till next week. It's going to blow your mind. All right? And Zalisa, Anais, it's been great being with you both
Thank
tonight.
you. Always a pleasure as well. We're full of gratitude for the knowledge that you impart. And I just want to remind our viewers here in Trinidad and Tobago and throughout the world, if you are experiencing any sort of spiritual problems, you need guidance, you need help, please contact Master Eric at 1-868-354-4459. That's 1-868-354-4459 or 1-868-497-7226. 1-868-497-7226. For those in Trinidad, or even if you're in the Caribbean or wherever you are and you feel you need to meet with Master Eric, there are two office locations. One in Trinidad at Chinchin Road in Kunupe, and the other in Trinidad in San Fernando opposite Palmis Park. You're welcome to send in a message via WhatsApp or call, and someone will be happy to guide you.
And one more thing. Also, we've started to do virtual meetings and counseling for people. So if you're in another country and you're having problems, we set up the time and date, and we can actually have counseling one-on-one or teaching.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Okay? So anyhow, you have a good night, and it's been a pleasure. The Untold Truth, every Friday at 6 p.m. The journey has just begun with Master Eric. Zalisa. A new kind of podcast getting to the root of hidden knowledge. You can join us on Facebook, Conversation with the Zalisa, and YouTube, Master Eric. Your journey has just